The sun beats down on cracked earth, baking it into a hardened, lifeless crust. Dust devils dance in the wind, swirling up remnants of what was once fertile soil. A lone tree stands sentinel, its branches bare, its roots gasping for moisture, a silent witness to the relentless drought. This is the face of the water crisis, a stark portrait painted across vulnerable landscapes around the world, from deserts to once lush valleys. From the parched plains of Africa to the drying reservoirs of the American West, the story is the same, a dwindling resource and a growing thirst that knows no borders. The world is running dry and the consequences are dire. The statistics are alarming, painting a grim picture of our future. The United Nations estimates that over 2 billion people lack access to safe drinking water, a basic necessity for life. Millions more struggle with water scarcity, impacting agriculture, sanitation and overall health, creating a ripple effect of suffering and hardship. The crisis is not just about a lack of water, it's about a lack of life, a lack of opportunity and a lack of hope. It's about families forced to walk miles for a single bucket of contaminated water, risking their health with every sip. It's about farmers watching their crops wither and die, their livelihoods evaporating with each passing day. It's about children suffering from preventable diseases, their futures compromised by something as simple as a glass of clean water. The causes of this crisis are complex and interconnected, a tangled web of environmental, social and economic factors. Population growth, urbanization and industrial expansion are placing unprecedented pressure on our water resources, stretching them to their limits. Meanwhile, climate change is disrupting weather patterns, leading to more frequent and severe droughts, floods and unpredictable water supplies. This perfect storm of challenges demands our immediate attention and concerted efforts to find sustainable solutions. The time for action is now. We must come together as a global community to tackle this crisis head-on. We can no longer afford to take water for granted. Every drop counts, and every effort matters. The future of our planet and its people depends on our ability to address this crisis head-on, with urgency and determination. We must act now to conserve this precious resource, manage it sustainably, and ensure access for all, leaving no one behind. The world is watching, waiting, and hoping for a solution. Let's not disappoint them. Together, we can make a difference and secure a water-rich future for generations to come. Cities are vibrant centres of human activity, bustling with life and opportunities, but their rapid growth comes at a significant cost. As urban populations swell, so too does their insatiable demand for water, a resource that is becoming increasingly scarce. Megacities in particular are placing immense strain on water resources, often drawing from distant rivers and aquifers to quench their ever-growing thirst. This relentless demand often outstrips the available supply, leading to severe water shortages, rationing, and even conflict among communities. The sprawling concrete jungles of our cities, while symbols of human progress and development, often exacerbate the water crisis. Impervious surfaces like roads and buildings prevent rainwater from seeping into the ground, leading to increased runoff and significant depletion of groundwater resources. Aging and outdated infrastructure further compounds the problem, with leaky pipes and inefficient systems wasting precious water that could otherwise be conserved. Urban planners and policymakers are increasingly recognizing the urgent need for sustainable water management practices in cities. Innovative approaches such as rainwater harvesting, which captures and stores rainwater for later use, grey water recycling, which reuses water from sinks and showers for irrigation and other non-potable uses, and water-efficient building practices are being implemented to reduce the urban water footprint. Public awareness campaigns are also crucial to encourage citizens to conserve water in their daily lives. Addressing the water challenges in cities requires a multifaceted approach that combines infrastructure improvements, policy changes, and individual action. By embracing sustainable practices and promoting responsible water use, we can create more resilient cities that thrive without depleting our precious water resources. The future of our cities depends on how wisely we manage this vital resource today.
Industry is the lifeblood of modern economies, but it's also a major consumer of water. From manufacturing processes to energy production, industries rely heavily on this precious resource. As global demand for manufactured goods and energy continues to rise, so too does the pressure on our water supplies. Agriculture in particular is a thirsty industry. Growing crops and raising livestock requires vast amounts of water, especially in arid and semi-arid regions. Industrial agriculture, with its emphasis on monoculture and intensive irrigation, often exacerbates water scarcity, depleting groundwater aquifers and diverting water from rivers and lakes. The energy sector is another major water user. Thermoelectric power plants, which generate electricity from fossil fuels, require massive amounts of water for cooling. As global energy demands continue to soar, so too does the water footprint of the energy sector. Transitioning to more sustainable industrial practices is essential for addressing the water crisis. This includes adopting water-efficient technologies, reducing water consumption in manufacturing processes, and promoting water recycling and reuse within industrial facilities.
Climate change is no longer a distant threat. It is a present reality with tangible consequences for our planet and its people. The evidence is all around us, manifesting in various forms and affecting every corner of the globe. One of the most alarming impacts of climate change is its effect on the global water cycle. Rising temperatures are intensifying the water cycle, leading to more frequent and severe droughts in some regions, and more intense rainfall and flooding in others. This duality of extremes is reshaping landscapes and livelihoods. Droughts are becoming more frequent and severe in many parts of the world, leaving rivers and reservoirs depleted and agricultural lands parched. The drying of these vital water sources is a stark reminder of the urgency of the situation. The consequences for food security, human health, and ecosystem integrity are dire. As water becomes scarcer, the ability to grow food diminishes, leading to hunger and malnutrition. Communities that rely on rain-fed agriculture are particularly vulnerable, facing crop failures, livestock losses, and economic hardship. These communities often lack the resources to adapt to changing conditions, making them even more susceptible to the impacts of climate change. On the other side of the spectrum, climate change is also increasing the frequency and intensity of extreme rainfall events, leading to floods and landslides. These events can be devastating, causing immediate destruction and long-term displacement. These events can cause widespread damage to infrastructure, displace communities, and contaminate water sources, further exacerbating the water crisis. The aftermath of such events often leaves communities struggling to rebuild and recover. Addressing climate change is crucial for mitigating its impacts on the global water cycle. This requires a concerted effort from all sectors of society, including governments, businesses, and individuals. This includes reducing greenhouse gas emissions, investing in renewable energy sources, and implementing adaptation measures to enhance water security in vulnerable regions. By taking these steps, we can work towards a more sustainable and resilient future for all.
The human toll of the water crisis is best understood through the stories of those living on the front lines. From rural farmers struggling to irrigate their crops to urban slum dwellers queuing for hours for a bucket of water, the stories are as diverse as the landscapes affected by water scarcity. "The well has been dry for months," says Fatima, a farmer in rural Ethiopia. "My crops have withered, my animals are gone, and my children are hungry. We have lost everything." In the sprawling slums of Mumbai, India, water is a precious commodity, often controlled by local gangs. "We have to wait for hours for the water tankers to arrive," says Lakshmi, a young mother. "Sometimes the water is dirty, but we have no choice but to drink it." These stories of hardship and resilience highlight the urgency of the water crisis. They are a stark reminder that behind the statistics are real people, families, and communities struggling to survive. Their experiences are a call to action, a plea for us to listen, learn, and act.
The impact of the water crisis extends far beyond human suffering. It's also wreaking havoc on the natural world. Ecosystems around the globe are feeling the strain of dwindling water resources, leading to habitat loss, biodiversity decline, and a cascade of ecological consequences. Rivers and lakes are shrinking, wetlands are disappearing, and groundwater aquifers are being depleted faster than they can recharge. These changes are having a devastating impact on aquatic ecosystems, leading to fish kills, loss of biodiversity, and disruption of delicate food webs. Forests, too, are feeling the heat. Trees rely on water for survival, and prolonged droughts can weaken forests, making them more susceptible to pests, diseases, and wildfires. Deforestation further exacerbates the problem by reducing water absorption and increasing soil erosion. The degradation of natural ecosystems has far-reaching consequences for human well-being. Forests and wetlands play a vital role in regulating water cycles, purifying water, and mitigating the impacts of floods and droughts. Their loss undermines our ability to manage water resources sustainably,